Hey cosmic friends, it is the week ahead astro forecast time. If you're new here, I'm Sarah Nicole. This is Twisted Goddess Tarot with your astro forecast for the week of March 21st. My goal is to help you navigate these cosmic energies with greater awareness. We're all influenced by the planets, by the astrology, by the cosmic energy, whether we know it or not. So my goal is to make you aware of what is happening up in the skies, up in the cosmos, so that you can grab a hold of the positive influences that we're feeling and you can use them. And also so that you can be aware of how to navigate some more of the challenging cosmic energies or planetary alignments. So we have a lot to talk about this week. We are ending, we're getting to the end of March, and we talked about all through March, we had absolutely 0 planets in retrograde all March long. So there's a lot of forward moving energy with March. And I had said at the very beginning, the first astro forecast we did of March, I had said, don't blink because you might miss it. And now here we are coming towards the end of March. And is that not how it was? I cannot believe March is almost already over, and it happens so quickly because we have so much forward moving momentum, okay, with all planets direct. So the first thing we're going to talk about is today, Mercury is conjunct Jupiter in Pisces. What does that mean? A conjunction is when 2 planets come together and they meet in the sky at the same place in the zodiac. And a conjunction is really a beautiful, beautiful alignment because it is empowerment. It is when these 2 energies combine together. They enhance each other. They strengthen each other. They join forces and they activate each other. So we have Mercury, the planet of the mind, meeting up with Jupiter, the planet of expansion and growth. So when these 2 planets come together, they blend and they create a very expansive mind. Okay, so you're able to see a broader vision during this time. So if you've been trying to make a decision, if you've been trying to decide between 2 options or 2 paths, use today to see the other options available to you and to see more of the story. It's just this broadening mind. You think about Jupiter. I always like to say that Jupiter is the clear quartz of planets. That is because clear quartz is an amplifier. It just amplifies anything it touches. And Jupiter does that as well. So Jupiter is coming in, amplifying the planet of the mind, and it's happening in Pisces, which is a little bit more deeper, a little bit more spiritual, a little bit more subconscious. So we're definitely deepening our mindset, our vision, what it is that we can see, what it is that we are aware of today. You'll be able to see past any limitations that have been blocking you, that have been keeping you from going after the things that you want to do, okay? So this is beautiful because it just came after the sun moved into Aries, giving us a lot of motivation, starting a new chapter because we had the astrological new year yesterday, spring equinox, okay? And so this is now coming in and saying, hey, see past these limitations that you've put on yourself or that other people have put on you. This is a really good time to begin a new study. And since it's happening in Pisces, intuition is also heightened during this time. Now, just like with everything, there's obviously some challenging or some shadow aspects to this alignment too, even as beautiful as it is, okay? So be the theme this week really is being mindful to not bite off more than you can chew, because that's going to come up a couple times, okay? And it's come for the first time it's coming up with this Mercury conjunct Jupiter alignment, okay? Don't take on more than you can commit to, because we're feeling really optimistic. We're feeling really fiery. We're feeling more of energy, right? Mercury, the planet of the mind, meeting up with Jupiter. This gives us a very optimistic, a very expansive mindset. And then we have the sun that just moved into Aries, where we're feeling that fire energy. We're feeling that catalyst energy. We're feeling that fresh start energy. Okay. So during this time, we can kind of say, yes, I'm going to do that. Yes, I'm going to do that. Yes, I'm going to do that. And then we realize that we committed to more than what we have energy to give to. Okay. So that is one thing that I do want to really make sure I talk about enough stuff because it's going to come up a couple times in this astro forecast. Also today we have Mars, which is sitting in Aquarius, creating a sextile to Chiron in Aries. Now, sextiles are really beautiful alignments as well, because sextiles create opportunities. Okay, the two planets are collaborating. They're assisting each other. They're creating possibilities for each other. So let's talk about this. First, let's just talk about Chiron. Chiron is considered the wounded healer. It shows us those deep wounds that we have, okay, that if left unhealed, right, we're limited. But once we're able to heal them, we are able to help other people heal from them. Sometimes through actually helping them, sometimes through just existing and just being, right? And just showing what a version of a person on a healing journey looks like. Now, Chiron has been going through Aries since 2019, okay? Chiron through Aries has really been digging up some unhealed wounds for you to address, especially surrounding self-worth and boundaries. So the Aries Chiron wound is often called the identity wound. Like I said, Chiron has been in Aries since 2019, and it will stay there until 2027. Okay, so we've got a really long time that this is being addressed, that identity wound is being addressed, that the self-worth and the boundaries are being addressed, and the fact that sometimes we don't place boundaries because of a lack of self-worth. Okay, that's what this is really getting down to. That's what this, so as you're starting to heal this, as some of these are starting to come up and you're starting to heal this, you may find yourself better able to place boundaries, better able to say, I'm not, actually, you know what, I'm not putting up with that. Actually, you know what, I don't have time for your BS. And that is because we're healing that wound of self-worth. We're healing that wound of identity. We're being reminded that being nice and being kind are two different things, right? And that sometimes being nice and being kind to ourselves kind of has to take first priority. Okay? So sometimes we can see the unhealed aspects of ourselves, right? Sometimes we can see them. Sometimes we know what is within us that's unhealed, okay? But addressing them and healing them can sometimes feel daunting or sometimes feel impossible, okay? So Mars coming in, the planet of action, right? Coming in and creating opportunities with this Chiron is really giving us some motivation that we need to address the wounds that are surfacing. This is happening on the same day as the Mercury conjunction with Jupiter, which is today, Monday, okay? And this is beautiful because this Mercury-Jupiter conjunction puts you in the right headspace to address wounds without allowing yourself to fall into a negative mindset. And just keep an eye on some of these thoughts. These are some of the thoughts that you're being asked to keep an eye on. When you tell yourself, I am nobody, or, you know, I'm nothing special, or when you tell yourself, I am not enough. When those thoughts come up this week, remember that Mars is giving you the motivation to say, that is not true. I am someone and I am enough, okay? And I'm worth it. So on Tuesday, we have Mars again coming up, and this time it is squaring off with Uranus, okay? The planet of change, the planet of revolution. So the planet of action squaring with the planet of change. So we already talked about a conjunction and a sextile and how those are two very beautiful harmonizing aspects. Whereas a square is not so harmonizing. A square is a challenging aspect. It creates tension. Okay, it pressures us into taking action or making change. So with Mars creating some tension with Uranus, This is very impulsive energy. This is very reckless energy. This is also very explosive energy. So just be on the lookout for that. This can be a clash of ideals or a clash of beliefs. But this can also be very powerful warrior energy when channeled right, especially when channeled into sticking up for someone or sticking up for yourself or sticking up for what's right, sticking up for your ideals, sticking up for your beliefs, okay? This is really a time to be on the lookout, though, if you are someone who has some pent-up frustration, especially surrounding like feeling constrained or feeling limited. This can really come in and just allow the floodgates to open of any of that pent-up aggression. So I do just want to talk about that, be mindful of that. So maybe tomorrow morning, because this is happening tomorrow, you might already be feeling it though. So maybe tomorrow morning you get up a little bit extra early and you do a little extra meditation just to get yourself like preemptive meditation, just because you are aware that tomorrow's energy can be a little bit impulsive, a little bit reckless, and a little bit explosive, okay? So if you're someone who typically has some anger issues, you might want to do some extra meditation tomorrow. And then on the flip side, if you're somebody who is usually very passive and unwilling to stand up for yourself and you have a lot of pent up frustration, then you know what? This might be igniting that warrior energy within you. This can go one of two ways. It depends on who you are. And this is where knowing oneself is very important. Because if you're someone who does have anger issues, then you want to do a little extra meditation, right? Because this could come out in the explosive energy for you. Whereas if you're someone who's passive and has a hard time standing up for yourself, you might want to use this energy then, right? To free yourself of the constraint or the limitations that you or other people are putting on you. And then on Wednesday, Mercury is meeting up with Neptune in the sky. So what Mercury does is Mercury follows the sun pretty closely. It stays kind of right behind the sun, and it likes to, it's almost like following the leader with the sun. Okay, so a couple weeks ago we talked about, you know, the sun met up with Jupiter in Pisces, and that was that day of miracles, that very lucky day. And then the sun met up with Neptune in Pisces, which is really awakening opening us up to a new level of spiritual awakening. And remember that I said that that was in preparation. We were getting closer to the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in Pisces on April 12th, which is a once-in-a-lifetime event. The last time it happened was over 160 years ago. And I talked about how Neptune in Pisces was spiritual awakening, and that's been happening since 2012. And a lot of us can agree, a lot of us who have been on the spiritual path for quite some time can agree that we felt a shift, we felt a change in 2012, okay? And that was Neptune entering Pisces, and that was personal spiritual awakening happening. And that is why we're seeing more and more spiritual being mainstream and being accepted. And that's a beautiful thing. It's not something to be upset about, right? Meditation, crystals, tarot, astrology, this is all becoming more accepted and more readily available. That is Neptune in Pisces. That is Neptune in Pisces working its magic. And then we talked about how Jupiter, when it's going to meet up with Neptune in Pisces, if Neptune in Pisces is personal spiritual awakening, think about Jupiter, the clear quartz of planets, amplifying anything it touches. That means that is collective spiritual awakening. And I talked about how we're going to need to get prepared for that. We're going to start needing to shine our light and share our gifts to let the other people coming in that maybe aren't as supported know that it's okay. Sometimes just by shining your light, you give other people the permission to shine theirs as well. And so Mercury is kind of following in the sun's path, and Mercury is hitting both of those planets as well. Today, it was conjunct with Jupiter, right? And then on Wednesday, it is going to do a conjunction with Neptune. So the sun came through and activated it in our core, in our being, and now Mercury is coming through, and we're getting mentally prepared for this Neptune-Jupiter conjunction on April 12th. Only happens every 160 years, okay? So Before Mercury follows the sun and moves into Aries, he is meeting up with the planets, with Neptune in Pisces. So first we had Mercury meeting up with that Jupiter to expand our mind. Now we're having Mercury meeting up with Neptune to remind you that anything really is possible. It's like the universe is being sure that your mind is expanded as much as possible in Pisces before it enters into that fiery realm of Aries. Feels like the universe is really wanting us to retain some of the idealism of Neptune and Pisces long after our mind comes back to the present moment. Of course, with Neptune comes illusions as well, so be careful to see things as they are rather than how you wish them to be. And then on Friday, we have the last quarter moon in Capricorn. The last quarter moon is a time to release. Is it a time to surrender and to let go? Now, I always say that I don't like absolutes in spirituality. I always say do what aligns, right? Do what aligns with you. But I know a lot of people choose to release on the full moon. And like I said, if that is your practice, if that is what aligns with you, continue to do it. I am in no means telling people how to practice. But I will say that astrologically, the full moon corresponds to celebration and culmination. It is a time for a gratitude practice and to look around and see what came to fruition, what came to completion, and then the last quarter moon astrologically is a time to release and to let go and to surrender. So again, do what aligns for you, but I'm just telling you what the astrological correspondences are to the moon phases. So the last quarter moon is a time to release, to surrender, and to let go. That is because it is when the sun and the moon are creating a square aspect, and a square aspect creates tension and puts pressure on you to take action. And so release is an action word, okay? You are actively releasing something. So it aligns astrologically. You've celebrated what came to fruition on the full moon, and now it is time to take a deeper look to see what is not working. Where do you need to adjust? Okay, where do you need to adjust? Now, this is happening in the sign of Capricorn, the sign that is ruled by Saturn, which we can also call Father Time. So the card for the last quarter moon in Capricorn says to leave the past behind. And remember that this last quarter moon in Capricorn is happening right after we enter the astrological new year, starting a new cycle. So we are being asked to leave the past behind. Anytime that we have Saturn or Capricorn energy, we're reminded that our time here on Earth is limited and that we should be spending it wisely on the things that matter. So this is your chance to really commit to releasing things, people, and thoughts that you are spending time on that really don't matter or really aren't serving a purpose. Okay, so that is the last quarter moon in Capricorn. And then the last thing that we're chatting about this week is Mercury, the planet of the mind, moving into Aries. Remember, I said that Mercury doesn't stray too far from the sun. It's usually right behind the sun. And so yesterday we had the sun moving in to Aries. And then on this Sunday, we have Mercury moving into Aries. And it will stay there until April 10th. So when Mercury moves into the cardinal fire sign Aries, your thinking and your communications are much more direct and much more to the point. So with Pisces, with Mercury in Pisces, a lot of things were a little bit hazy, a little bit foggy. Sometimes it was a little bit difficult to express ourselves with Mercury in Pisces because Pisces feels rather than thinks. So Mercury is a little bit uncomfortable in that sign. Okay. And now on Sunday, Mercury is going to be moving into Aries, making our mind really a birthplace for new ideas, new visions. Now, be careful though, again, because since your mind is very quick right now, there is a possibility, well, not right now, but come Sunday, when Mercury enters into Aries, since your mind will be very quick, there is a possibility of speaking before you think, and that is higher than normal during this transit. So from Sunday until April 10th, we have a higher chance of kind of just blurting things out, speaking before we think, and getting in trouble because of it, okay? So too is the possibility of taking on more than you can handle energetically. We spoke about that already with the Mercury and the Jupiter today that's going on. And now we're ending the week with that same energy of taking on more than what we can really commit to energetically. So if you need to clear your mind during this time, during the time that Mercury is in Aries, moving your body is going to really help that, right? Because Aries is about the body. It is that fire energy, okay? It is the identity. And so channeling any overactive mental energy through the physical body can really help bring a sense of calm and clarity back to the mental realm when that is needed. All right, so our sacred self-care card for the week is a health checkup. Now, again, I don't want to alarm anybody because when we're speaking health, we're speaking holistic health. So yes, there's a picture of a doctor on the card, but really this is more about giving yourself a good scan, a good body scan, okay? And just checking in with how you're feeling, checking in with your body, checking in with your mind, checking in with your spirit, just seeing if you feel well, if you feel in tune. Where is there something that needs your attention right now? We don't do that enough. We don't sit down and just do a scan of our body and say, is there somewhere that needs my attention right now? Okay. And so that's what we're being asked to do. The affirmation is, I am healthy in my mind, body, and spirit. And then the Tarot of Transformation card for this week, we have the Teacher of Cups. And I love this. This so aligns with everything we just spoke about astrologically. This is speaking to exploring the inner landscape, okay? And so I do want to talk about the fact that, yes, the sun just moved into Aries yesterday. We started a new cycle, right? The astrological new year. We're feeling that motivation. We're feeling that fire energy, okay? But this card is coming up to remind us that we are not finished with Pisces energy just yet. Even though the sun moved into Aries, right? Mercury right now is still in Pisces until the end of the week. So in the mind, we're still in the depths of Pisces. Neptune is still in Pisces. Jupiter is still in Pisces. Okay, we still have a lot of Pisces energy happening. And so we're still really exploring those depths. We're not finished exploring those depths. The mind especially is still exploring the depths of the watery, Pisces sign. So this week is really a time we're really being pushed to dive into the depths of our mind, okay? And really try to get into alignment there and try to rid ourselves of any thoughts that are holding us back, that are limiting us, so that we can be prepared when Mercury moves into Aries to really have that clarity and really have that focus and really have that momentum for us. All right, my loves, that was our astro forecast for the week of the 21st. If you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments, and I will, of course, come back and chat with you.